It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict. I'm really excited about today's show. We're talking about the Sedona Fire District's 9/11 Memorial that's in the works right now. And joining me today to talk about the memorial is Sedona Fire Marshal Gary Johnson, as well as 9/11 Memorial Chairperson Scott Jablow. And thank you both for coming in to talk about this today. First off, how long has this 9/11 Memorial been in the works?
Just about 2 years or so, Kyle.
Okay. Now, what are some of the challenges with this? I mean, in terms of the fire district, Gary, how were you guys, when did this idea come about? How did it get started?
Well, you know, Scott's got some history, and for a lot of people that don't know, he comes from that area. He was involved, and I'll let him explain it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, this is an ideal location, the station, and the idea was that can we get this piece of steel if we can? And that's how it basically started, with the thought process, let's see if we can make this happen. And with the efforts of Scott and other members of the district, it became a reality. So now that we have that piece, the next step is let's build the memorial.
And we're talking Station 6?
Station number 6, which is located in the chapel area on State Route 179.
Okay. Well, Scott, how about you tell us a little bit about your background and your connection to this, as well as the steel girder that Gary talked about there. First off, let's start with the steel girder. What exactly are we talking about there?
The steel girder is a 5.5-foot I-beam that came from approximately the 20th floor. It was the outside structure. There's a flange on the side. You can see this flange here. It's believed that that was holding the outer facade of the building on a vertical beam.
Okay. So we're talking 5.5 feet. How much does this thing weigh?
Just about 3,000 pounds.
Wow. So
as much of a car.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. I mean, so in terms of getting, first off, I guess, what's your connection to New York and 9/11 and just this whole incident?
Well, as Gary alluded to, I'm a retired police officer from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. We owned the World Trade Center, and I didn't work at the World Trade Center. I worked at JFK Airport, and I worked for the agency for about 31 years. So I had a lot of connection to the building. While not at the World Trade Center when it came down, I was working for the agency then. I stayed another 10 years afterwards. But I lost 37 coworkers, every one of these people that I knew. None of them worked at the World Trade Center, but they all went into the World Trade Center to save people. And we have documented stories of every one of them saving people, and then they lost their lives. So it has a lot of memories for me.
Yeah, and the fact that you have those memories and that kind of personal connection, I imagine you really did whatever you could to get this piece of steel.
I did. About 2.5 years ago, I had heard through some connections of mine that there were some remaining pieces. There were over 1,200 pieces sent out across the country. Now, they weren't all like ours, but there are different girders that have been cut up into different sizes, and some were twisted, some were bent, some were, all destroyed, and they stayed in that state, and they were sent out to different agencies who requested them. I didn't realize that some place like Sedona could get something like this. And then I did some research, and I knew that Phoenix and Scottsdale and Gila Bend even has some of the girders. And I took a shot, and I made some phone calls, and they said, yes, there's still a few left, but we have to get rid of them. They're sitting in an old hangar at JFK Airport. They have to be given out. So with the fire board's approval, we sent a really nice letter to the Port Authority, and we sat and we waited. During that same time, we had Station 6, where this is pictured in front of. It was in the process of being built, designed and then built, and this was a perfect place for it. But we had hoped it would be part of the original construction, and it didn't come to be. And then I sort of gave up hope. And then this past August, I heard back from them, and they said, yes, you've been approved. And then we had to work out the arrangements to come and get it. Okay. So that in itself was quite challenging. So
the whole process from the first, sending the letter to the time it arrived here in Sedona, how long did that take?
It took about 2 years.
Wow.
It took about 2 years. So there were a lot of phone calls back and forth. Fortunately, I knew some of the different people to call to check on it, and they said, well, yes, no, maybe. and then I heard nothing. And then I get the email, and it's good to go, and now it's hurry up and get it.
Wow.
So we had to make arrangements. It was quite challenging to get it. It had to be picked up by a freight forwarder. Because of the weight, not many people wanted to take it. And the district had to pay for the shipping. But we were lucky. We found someone who actually gave us a reduced price for it because of what it was and wanted to get it here for us. And we had it here a couple of weeks before this past September 11th.
Okay. And I know you guys did a special kind of unveiling there on September 11th of this year, right?
We did. We did. That was quite nice.
So we mentioned that the memorial is going to be at Station 6 off Highway 179. Gary, what is special about Station 6? If you could kind of just give us an idea about Station 6 itself and why you guys chose that location.
Well, Station 6 is our newest station. It's kind of unique with its location, the way it was designed and how it fits into the community. And it's also ideally set up. It's got a nice little parking lot right off of 179 where folks can come in and park. And it's just, I think, an ideal location. When you look at all of our other fire stations, they're not on the main highway. They're just not clearly as visible. While they work for being a fire station, I think this fire station works for being a fire station and a perfect location for people to be able to come, look, and see what this piece of steel represents.
Yeah, I mean, all the visitors that Sedona gets on a year, every single year, coming in from Phoenix or wherever they're coming from, 179, they pass this station, and that's going to be, I think, a perfect location. I mean, and not to mention, before the show, you were talking about how the actual memorial is going to match the design of the building, right?
That's correct. We had chosen, we have a 9/11 Memorial Committee, and we worked together, and we had some preliminary drawings of what we wanted it to look like. And we were in contact with the same architect that designed the fire station, because we wanted it to fit in. We didn't want it to look like it was an afterthought. So we contacted LEA Architects. They're down in Phoenix, and they gave us this rendering that you see here. And this way it's going to fit right in. It's perfect. This is not the best angle, but if you were to sit in front of the memorial looking back, you'll see the Red Rock Mountains. You'll see the flagpole behind it. It's very patriotic. It's very warm and welcoming. You also mentioned that we're off of 179, which is very important as well, but we have a parking lot there so that people can stop while on their drive either to Sedona or out of Sedona, park in a nice parking lot, and sit and reflect on their thoughts and their memories, because it's really not just the World Trade Center. It's also focused on, you see these plaques here? Mm-hmm. We plan on having storyboards of the Pentagon and Pennsylvania crash of the planes, pulling everything together. It's all about 9/11. It's not, well, it's nice to be about the World Trade Center. It's about the whole instance that we want people to remember and really never to forget. Okay,
that's great. When we come back from from break, we'll talk about a little bit more about the memorial and what visitors will see when they're walking through that memorial. If you would like to donate or for just more information and information on how to help get this memorial built, you can visit sedonafire.org. You can also call 928-282-6800 for more information or to help donate. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, again, we will continue talking about what you'll see at the memorial. This is Countywide. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 68 children is diagnosed with autism. That's about a 30% increase in 2 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
I heard you dropped art class. What happened?
Life happened. I'm too old for finger painting. You guys going to Haley's thing tonight?
Totes, time to get trashed.
I don't.
That was for your eyes only, Brian.
Baby, if you send it to me, it's public property.
Speak for yourself. Live above the influence.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking about the Sedona Fire District's 9/11 Memorial that's in the works right now, and joining me to talk about it is Sedona Fire Marshal Gary Johnson, as well as 9/11 Memorial Chairperson Scott Jablow. And we talked about the memorial itself, the 5.5-foot, 3,000-pound steel girder from the World Trade Center that the Sedona Fire District received. And we mentioned right before break donations.
Right.
Can you talk about kind of what donations are being used for and how people can donate, Scott?
Okay. Well, we don't have a fixed figure yet, but we've already raised enough, which is about $8,500, to get an actual set of working plans. And with those plans, we'll be able to send those out to local contractors who can do the bid, and then we'll actually get a fixed price on what we anticipate it costing us. We think it's going to be in a range between $35,000 and $40,000, but we're not sure until we get those bids in. But right now we're already at the $12,000 mark, and we hope, I'm sure before our time limit is up, we'll receive the remainder. But we're asking people to donate what they can if they feel that they can. But we really want buy-in from the local community. We've already had a lot of corporate people, local people in Sedona and the surrounding area make a donation. And we have, if you'll notice on the picture here, we have a plaque. This is for the people who will donate $911 or more. Their name will be memorialized forever on this stainless steel plaque. Those who give more than $911 for each $1,000 on up, or actually for each $5,000 on up, the names will be in larger print. A lot of the corporate sponsorships, we have one local company give us $2,500, so of course their name will be a little bit larger than people who just give $911. But we want to remember these people. Those who give less than $911, their name will be on our website forever. It'll also be in a program book for our dedication ceremony on this coming September 11th. So we're not going to forget the people who give us $5, $10, $25. Those are really important to us as well because they will add up.
Okay, and then again, for more information on how to donate and just about the memorial, you can visit sedonafire.org, and that will direct you on how to donate, or you can call 928-282-6800. Gary, you guys mentioned that you guys plan on having this, unveiling this, and opening it next year or this year?
Yes, the idea is for the 15th anniversary, which will be 9/11/2016. That is our goal, and we really need help from the community. And like just to reinforce what Scott said, it's kind of like everybody volunteering and putting it together. Everybody contributing what they can contribute will make this project successful, and then it becomes permanently part of our community.
Now, Scott, in terms of the community's involvement in just the planning process, what has that been like?
It's been quite impressive. I think the local people, they realize everybody knows someone, or who knows someone that died on September 11th, whether it be at the Pentagon in Pennsylvania or in the World Trade Center. Most people know somebody. So there's a good buy-in from people locally, and they all want to feel that this is a project that's going to be here forever. There's a lot of great organizations out there in the Verde Valley where people can contribute to. The event comes and the event goes, and people remember it, and that's great. They're very, very important for the survival of our community. But this is going to be here forever. It's a piece of history, okay? And that's why we created this memorial, so people can come and reflect for years to come. So I think the visitors who come to Sedona will remember they came to Sedona and saw a piece of New York City, a part of the World Trade Center, a part of the Pentagon, a part of Pennsylvania. Sedona cared enough. Look at the people that contributed. The people in Sedona and the Verde Valley really care about the rest of the country.
Yeah, you know, it really, that event really impacted the entire nation.
It did.
And so in terms of visitors, we talked about the parking lot that is there, so people, when they pass it, they can pull off and park and get out and walk. What's that experience going to be like? What exactly are they going to see in addition to the steel girder again?
Well, you're going to park in, it's a small parking lot right now. We're hoping to have some money, if we have any money left over, to expand that parking lot. Double the size if we can. But you're going to get out of your car and you'll see it off next to the firehouse. You're going to walk down a really nice brown concrete pathway, and you're going to see this off to your left. And there's a lot that you're going to see. You'll see storyboards. We haven't decided what they're exactly going to say yet. We haven't done the verbiage yet, but we want to, as I said before, to reflect on all the events that happened on September 11th. You'll see these two vertical girders here. These are I-beams that we're going to be providing as part of the memorial. They're going to be 9 foot and 11 inches tall. They're holding the girder up on an angle, and it's always going to be free falling. It's going to have that look. It's falling to the ground, but it's never going to hit the ground because it's down, it's secure. And that's, you know, one of the great feelings here, that we were given this as it's a token from the World Trade Center to care for it and make sure it's not damaged in any other way. So that's what we're caring for here. We're going to have benches that you'll be able to sit and look at the girder, read the storyboards, and have memories of a sad day, but realize that we've come forward and we've moved forward in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just reflect on that day, and yeah, like you mentioned, the fact that we have moved forward, but we won't forget. So,
exactly.
What is next? I mean, we talked about donations, and people, you guys are looking for donations and want to open it on the 15th anniversary, 9/11 this year. What exactly is next in this process of getting it built?
Well, we're waiting. Like I said, we're going to wait. We should, within the next 4 to 5 weeks, get our working plans. We're going to send out an RFP to local builders. We're hoping once that comes about, we'll be able to continue to raise money. And I don't really want to spend anything or contract anything until we're a lot closer to the goal of having money in the bank, because it's my intention. You know, the fire district, Sedona Fire, paid the money. It was $1,200 to get the girder here. It didn't cost anything for the girder itself. The Port Authority charged nothing. But we had to pay to get it here. I don't want to see the district pay any more money, because I want to see the community. It means something more if it's the community who funds this. So I want to be sure we have that funding and we can move forward. We haven't planned on what we're going to do on this September 11th that's coming up, but we hope to do a full unveiling. We'll have all the news media there. I would like to have the pipe and drum band from Sedona Fire and the Verde Valley Fire districts come together. They have a nice band. I want it to be about everybody. It's not even just about Sedona Fire. I would like to tie into everybody, so everybody will remember that this girder is here. It's the largest piece of remaining steel from the World Trade Center in north of Phoenix in Scottsdale. I don't know how that worked out, but we were very lucky to have that. When we originally applied, we didn't know what we were going to get. It could have been something small. It could have been twice the size. You get what you get. Mm-hmm. So, but I really want everybody to know that we're lucky enough to be able to be given the trust to care for it.
Great. Well, again, more information, 282-6800, and on sedonafire.org you can read about the memorial. They also have photos up there of some architectural renderings. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will discuss again how to donate and just more about this 9/11 memorial at the Sedona Fire District in a couple minutes.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Cheers. Take time to be a dad today.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, joined with Sedona Fire Marshal Gary Johnson and 9/11 Memorial Chairperson Scott Jablow, talking about the Sedona Fire District's 9/11 Memorial that's in the works here. Gary, as a firefighter, what does something like this mean to you?
Well, let me see if I can get it out.
Yeah.
It's think about what this piece of steel represents, where it's been, and the changes our country has gone through. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at that, it's hard for me not to get emotional because of what you see in that piece of steel. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what will be there. And I think for a lot of people, when you walk up to that, you walk down that walkway and you see that piece of history. This country has changed because of that, what happened to that piece of steel. All of us have been impacted with it. And I think to me, it's a reminder and it's emotional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you mentioned, Scott, everyone remembers where they were on that day in 2001, and also probably have a connection to someone who was impacted directly by that. And then I understand the Sedona Fire District also had, were helping with that day in 9/11.
Right. Well, I wasn't in Sedona at the time, but I've been told that some firefighters from Sedona went to New York City and contributed to that rescue effort. And that's a good buy-in. And it shows, I mean, many fire districts across the country sent firefighters and whole teams, rescue teams, to New York City. So, but there's still a tie-in with Sedona, the fact that we had people that really cared enough to want to go there. The district cared enough as a whole to want to be a part of it. So that's why this is a good location. And I was previously on the fire board for 3 years. Prior to being on the committee, and I've learned so much about the Sedona firefighters as well as the district, and they're amazing men and women of this department and this district that I feel that even when I'm long gone, I know that the dedication of the fire district in the years to come is such that they'll take care of this girder. They'll maintain it for many, many decades to come, and because the heart's always going to be there. Mm-hmm. It's that deep of a commitment from the firefighters. So it'll be in good hands.
Yeah, well, I want to thank both of you for making this happen, and again, just paying this tribute to that day and what it meant to this country. So again, that was Sedona Fire Marshal Gary Johnson and 9/11 Memorial Chairperson Scott Jablow. To donate, again, 282-6800, 282-6800. You can also, for more information, visit sedonafire.org. That's going to do it for Countywide today. We'll see you next time.